Here we are for the first day of Bosworth Links Digs Carlton. People are arriving, registering, collecting their equipment, getting their briefing, and soon they'll be out digging pits across the village to find out more about the area's history. We're here in Carlton to find out more about the village's ancient history. We know as a village it was here as early as the 13th century. That's the first time it's mentioned by name. But its earlier history is more of a mystery. Was it here when the Normans arrived in 1066? Was it here before that when the Vikings were here in the 10th century? These are all questions we're hoping to find out over the course of the dig. We know there was also Roman activity in the area. Previous excavations in Carlton have found Roman activity. Is there Iron Age activity here too? Is there a hidden prehistoric landscape? These are all the questions we hope to answer by the end of this project.
We started off by digging up the grass and putting it neatly into squares so we knew where it would go when we finished. And then we started to dig the first layer, but we didn't find anything. When we started the second layer, we could see a lot of stones, and I think we're starting on the third layer now. I'm interested in archaeology. I'm interested in archaeology because I really like dinosaurs, and I really like the Victorian times, and I want to find out more on how they lived.
I've been digging for a couple of hours this morning. We've had some quite exciting finds so far. We've had some lovely terracotta pots. We've got some letters on there. We've got some slate. And most excitingly, we've got a lovely jawbone. I'm not quite sure what it's from, a sheep or perhaps a pig. Well, I've been interested in archaeology pretty much all my life. I wanted to be an archaeologist when I was younger. So this is a great opportunity for me to dig up my own garden. This is my house, and obviously I wouldn't normally get the opportunity to do that, so it's just absolutely fantastic. I'm just loving it.
We've been digging here for a couple of hours now, and we have found bits of pottery and clay pipe and glass. I hope to find potentially a Roman coin or like something that's very old, because I am interested in a lot of the like Roman and Victorian things. So I'd hope to find some of them if possible.
I've always been really interested in the history of the village and how it's changed from a farming community into the village it is today. So this opportunity to dig down in our garden in what was part of one of the original farms has been a fantastic opportunity, and we've found lots and lots of interesting things. This has been my first opportunity to take part in something like a community dig, and I think it's really important that people in the community can explore their own history and do that through something like archaeology, which reveals all sorts of fascinating things that you didn't know existed. So the community part of this, getting to know what Carlton was like many years ago, is really, really interesting.
Lots of pensionware, lots of sort of creamware, kitchenware, so pensionware, sort of thing you'd store milk in dairies or kitchens. Creamware would be sort of a kitchen cake bowls, think cake making bowls. Tableware, so I would say it's looking mostly 19th century. Some of this you could perhaps say is 18th century. Can't see any medieval material yet, but then we know we're above a 18th, 19th century farmyard surface. So the key will be to find out what is beneath it.
We have been here for 3 or more hours, and we have found loads of stuff. This is a devil's toenail, and it is a fossil of, I think, a snail, and it was one of the first fossils that we have found. This is a hobnail and it looks very rusty. This is a pottery piece, I think from the Victorians. The reason I'm here is also to work with these two lovely people, but they take a bit too many tea breaks and they keep asking for a lot of biscuits.
We are pit number 1. We started off, we've got 2 newbies like me and 2 more experienced people. So we're being led by the more experienced people. We found our hole, we've measured it, we've dug it, we've got the turf off, and then we've hit clay. We have found a few little things, little bits of pot, and we're really struggling because it is so hard. It's a hot day, the ground is rock solid, we've had numerous people come and help us. I'm still enthusiastic. I'm told that under the clay there might be some treasure, which is keeping me going, but I doubt it very much. But we're persevering. Like I say, it's really rock solid. We've got buckets, we're sieving and we're scraping. All to no avail. The day is nearly done and we're not yet at 30 centimetres, but I've enjoyed it.
Projects like this only work because they are collaborations between the village, volunteers from across the wider region and professional archaeologists as well. It's incredible how many people are taking part in a project to explore a relatively small village in Leicestershire. We've got over 100 volunteers taking part and we could not do this without those. Everybody here is ranging from 8 to 80. It's a fantastic project that allows everybody to get engaged. You don't have to have done archaeology before, you've just got to have an enjoyment of digging a hole and an interest in a bit of history.
It is day 2 and update on what we found. First thing we found, 40 metres down, it was a piece of flint that was worked twice. Because when it's not been used, it's kind of rough, but when it has been used, it gets smoother. A piece of a tile or plate, and also there was a bowl for one of them olden day cigarettes. I've had lots of fun this weekend doing all this, and I would love to do this again.
Day 2 at the pub, don't often get to say that, and we are now getting into some potentially more interesting layers. Yesterday we had a lot of digging out of the current pub car park, and then below that we had what we think is the old pub yard with a lot of Victorian finds. We're now into some new layers which have got slightly earlier pottery in the finds tray. So keeping on digging down.
So in our trench, so we're in trench 16 at the moment, and we're down to about 40 centimetres we were down to. We've still got finds coming out, we've got some charcoal, we've still got bits of pottery. We think we've just taken out some Cistercian ware, so that's really good. On the previous layer we had a clay pipe bowl, so that's gone off with the finds team so that they can try and date it for us. Yeah, we're having a really good time actually. First time I've ever done it. I've brought my mum and my daughter, so we've always been big fans of Time Team, so it's been really good to actually have a bit of a hands-on go and get stuck in. So really enjoyable weekend, and something that probably we'll do again.
So my name's Will, I'm one of the archaeologists with the University of Leicester Archaeological Services, and I'm helping out here on the project. And my role has been to oversee the volunteers, the wonderful volunteers who've been coming in, and they've been processing, cleaning up all the finds that have been coming in from the various test pits through the village. So we've got a couple of people who've been going around the test pits, they've been collecting together all of the excavated items, and then they get brought back here, and then the team get to work washing up the finds, splitting them into their different sort of material types, and then this is going to hopefully give us a good indication of the kinds of activities that have been going on in the village and the various dates that things have been occurring. So we've got some of our finds laid out over here that have been beautifully cleaned, And most of it is sort of bits of building material. We've got a lot of pottery evidence coming in. That's sort of our main material type we've had a lot of, but we also have little bits of animal bone mixed in with there, things like clay pipe, glass objects, things like that. So there's a couple of nice bits in here. So we've got a nice clay pipe bowl, probably 18th century, one of the earlier ones that we've had at the site, and that's sort of come in complete and intact, and that's just something that someone would have been smoking back in the day, and it's just been discarded and ended up in the test pit. So a lot of our evidence is coming from that kind of time period between the 16th through to the 19th centuries. However, we have quite excitingly got some earlier stuff. So this rather uninspiring small piece of grey pottery is actually of Roman date. It's unimaginatively called greyware, and it's sort of a standard ware produced throughout the Roman period, used for things like cooking pots and utilitarian vessels. But that's really nice, because one of our research objectives was to identify if there was an earlier Roman presence within the area, so this is good evidence towards that. And then going even further back, several thousand years in fact, our very earliest pieces of archaeological material are a few worked flints that have come up from the site. These are potentially Bronze Age in date. We know there was nearby Bronze Age activity in Market Bosworth, so it might be that these are related to a sort of a similar time period. So it's really nice to have these coming up as well, and it all adds to the picture of an inhabited landscape over thousands of years.
So we've had a really good weekend, and we've found lots of things like clay pipe and some occasional metal as well. So yeah, this is my first time and I've really enjoyed it. Just getting to find lots of different things and do some digging. But the main part is I've had fun, so I'd really want to do it again.
We came here just to learn something, and we've had a good time. As we've been digging down through our pit, it's been kind of mixed up quite a lot, but we found a bunch of different stuff which the archaeologists have told us ranges from sort of fairly recent history through to possible 17th, 18th century pottery. We've got bits of clay pipe, some metalwork which we think might be latch for a gate or something, some Victorian pottery, and then some of this darker glazed material they tell us is maybe earlier earthware or pottery, so interested to find out what they tell us these things are once they've all been washed up.
I think these projects are so important because they're accessible to absolutely anybody that wants to do it. A lot of people have seen Time Team on the television and they get all enthused about it but don't know what to do next, whereas with projects like these test pits, anybody can have a go. You don't have to have a lot of experience. There's always somebody who knows what to do that will help you, and it's great fun. And a lot of people come and look at the test pits as well, you know, children or the grannies bring their grandchildren and they get inspired as well, and everybody that is doing the digging is always very friendly and explain things. The kids are often disappointed we haven't found dinosaur bones, but apart from that it's a really rewarding sort of thing to do. And in fact some of the people that were helping us at Market Bosworth have gone on to study archaeology at university now as a result of getting in touch with us through the test pitting we did there.
This has been a wonderful and friendly weekend. We've now got to the last stage where we're filling it in and hoping we can stamp it down, as you can see in the background, so that we can put the turf on the top. In our top 3 layers, we found 3 pieces of worked flint, which makes it a really good find.
It's the end of the weekend, the volunteers are coming back tired, exhausted, hopefully happy that they found something in the test pits. It's been a really successful weekend. What we've seen so far shows that we are producing medieval pottery from some of the test pits. Certainly those around the village green are producing medieval pottery, but we've had a scatter of medieval pottery all the way up to Carlton Gate, and we are getting medieval pottery from around Carlton Gate, which was one of our key research questions. How old was activity around the area where the pub is? And it looks like we are getting activity that's much older than the current building on the site. But we've also had a few test pits producing Roman pot, and we've had a scatter of test pits producing prehistoric worked flint as well. The results from Carlton this weekend are going to be part of a much bigger project that unfolds over the next few years. We are going to be looking at the whole region around Market Bosworth, how it interacted with each other, how these villages relied on the market town, how the market town relied on these villages in the past, what was here before all of these settlements, what was the Roman landscape like, what was the prehistoric landscape. That's what we're going to be excited to find out about over the next few years.